Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com. By Feathersnap, the smart bird feeder with a high-resolution camera and species identification software aimed to educate and spread joy to every level of avian enthusiast. Learn more at feathersnapcam.com.
And by Vortex Optics, with the VIP warranty, their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to our show. If you're listening live, and if you like numbers, you might be interested in knowing that this is our show number 1006, live on 1006. That's show number 1006, airing live in the 10th month of the year and the 6th day of the month. That listening live note offers a chance to add a reminder that wherever you are on our beautiful blue planet, you can hear Talking Birds live each Sunday if you have an internet connection and a connectable device. Our show streams live every Sunday morning, 9:30 to 10 Eastern, 6:30 to 7 Pacific. Check the Listen tab at talkingbirds.com, and you'll see how easy it is to listen live wherever you are. Coming along on our show today, a special guest will tell us what's helpful and what's not in protecting birds from predation by domestic cats. We'll also hear about a bird that was saved from extinction, and we'll get some info about wintering finches and what might be happening with how many we might see in the lower 48 this fall and winter. And we have an audio postcard to listen to. It's a brief but beautiful one from a lush location in western South America.
Good morning, Ray. This is Gino Ellison. I'm in Ecuador, and this morning we're listening to the chestnut named Ampita. Congratulations, Ray, on your 1000th show, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, Gino. That audio postcard. For new listeners, by the way, Gino referenced our 1000th show, which we celebrated a few weeks ago on the 25th of August. Well, if you have an audio postcard, we hope you'll send it to us. And if you don't have one, why, you can make one pretty easily. Just grab a smartphone or other digital recording device and just record a description of the bird or birds that you're seeing, maybe 30 seconds worth or a minute long. We're not really fussy. And then send the file to ray@talkingbirds.com with your audio postcard. That's ray@talkingbirds.com. What we're hearing there is our mystery bird. And we usually do a preview, I guess we always do, early in the show about our contest, the actual conduction of which will be later on in the show. This kind of gets you ready for it with the sound of the bird and some clues. Our mystery bird is a small, long-winged aerial insectivore with a small bill, pale throat, square tail, orange rump, and a dark blue-black coloring on the crown and back. Among the structures in which our mystery bird nests are silos, bridges, caves, and culverts. Our mystery bird breeds in extreme southern U.S. and northern South America, in winters in Mexico and the Caribbean, although in the last few decades, many individuals, especially young birds, have been spotted thousands of miles from their breeding range, showing up as far north as Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, Canada. It's thought that fast-moving low-pressure systems drive the birds northward. There's a little extra thing about our mystery bird. Our prizes include a big bag of our favorite coffee, shade-grown, bird-friendly, and truly delicious Birds and Beans coffee, grown under the natural forest canopy in Central America, where so many of our birds head every winter. The way that coffee is grown preserves wintering habitat for birds under that natural forest canopy. And we have a $25 gift certificate for Bird Collective. They have beautiful things there. Vintage-inspired apparel and unique accessories, all featuring birds. You can check them out at birdcollective.com, and it's a $25 gift certificate as the prize here on our upcoming Mystery Bird contest. Meanwhile, we have a royal salute here to give. We don't seem to have our royal salute music, but we'll salute Scott Coleman from Perrysville, Ohio. Thank you so much, Scott, for becoming a Talking Birds ambassador and for your kind comments about the show. Dear Talking Birds listeners, will you join Scott and the more than 900 other listeners who have become Talking Birds ambassadors? It is the best way to help us tell more folks about the show and our mission to spread the word about the wonder of birds and the vital importance of conservation. Easy to be an ambassador and easy to sign up. Just go to talkingbirds.com and click on the Get Involved tab up at the top of the page. That's the Get Involved tab at talkingbirds.com. Still to come today, we'll talk with the American Bird Conservancy's Grant Sizemore about why it's so important to keep cats indoors. Also today, Mike O'Connor's Let's Ask Mike Live segment will offer a little talk about those wintering finches that may or may not be heading down to the lower 48 this fall. And we'll meet a bird about which there's some good news to report as today's Talking Birds featured feathered friend right after this.
Hey, it's Debbie from the Talking Birds crew. Around here, we're always thinking about what we can do to make the world better for all creatures, including birds. One of the most important things we can do is vote. Did you know that 8 million environmentalists skipped the 2020 presidential election? Let's not skip this one. Our votes matter. Check your registration and find out where to vote at vote.org. That's vote.org.
We're lucky to be able to spotlight this week's featured feathered friend because until very recently, it had been extinct in the wild. The bird is the Guam kingfisher, a brightly colored, medium-sized kingfisher with an iridescent blue back and rusty cinnamon-color head. Adult males have cinnamon-colored underparts. Females and juveniles are white below. They have large, laterally flattened bills and dark legs, and their call has been described as a raspy chattering. Guam kingfishers dive, as other kingfishers do, but they capture their prey on the ground instead of in water, grabbing grasshoppers, worms, insects, and hermit crabs. This bird, locally known on their native Micronesian island of Guam as seahek, was devastated by the accidental introduction of the brown tree snake to the island in the 1940s. A captive breeding program, begun in the mid-'80s, kept the species alive, even as all had disappeared in the wild by the end of the '80s. Fast forward to 2024. Just a couple of weeks ago, on the 23rd of September, 6 Guam kingfishers were released on the predator-free Palmyra Atoll in the Pacific, about 3,700 miles east of Guam, as part of a plan to establish a population there and ultimately to return the species to Guam once the brown tree snake threat has been addressed. Thanks go to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Guam Department of Agriculture, Zoological Society of London, and the Nature Conservancy, among others, for bringing back from extinction in the wild today's featured feathered friend, Todorhamphus cinnamominus, the Guam kingfisher. Welcome again to our show number 1006. Grant Sizemore holds degrees in zoology and environmental science from Miami University and an MS in wildlife ecology and conservation from the University of Florida. He's the director of invasive species programs at the American Bird Conservancy And he joins us now to talk about one of those invasive species, the domestic cat. Good morning, Grant.
Morning. Hi. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Great to have you on, Grant. We know that birds fall victim to cats in big numbers, but what's the actual scale of the problem? How big is it?
Yeah, it's a big problem, often overlooked, unfortunately. And so in the United States, cats kill an estimated 2.4 billion birds every single year. That's billion with a B. And that's the median estimate that we often cite. It's really 1.3 to 4 billion is the estimate that was provided in the study that gave us those stats. It sounds like a huge number, and it is. It's the single largest direct source of human-caused bird mortality in the United States, also in Canada. But it's not any one cat. It's that we have so many cats roaming the landscape. Each of them contributing to the harms inflicted on birds and other wildlife. And so we've got well over 100 million domestic cats roaming outdoors in the United States. And so each of those contributes, some more, some less, to that total of 2.4 billion birds killed every year.
I was reading, I think, on your website, the number of domestic cats in the last 40 years has tripled.
Yeah.
In the US.
So the number of cats, there aren't really great population estimates on how many cats exist in the United States or really anywhere. It's a lot of sort of back of the envelope estimates, but some of the trade groups do keep track of this for commercial reasons. And at least with the pet cat population, we know that their estimates have increased by what you cited, tripling over the last 40 years. And there are about 100 million pet cats is the estimate in the United States.
So we hear about feral cats being, really maybe the biggest problem or the bigger problem. Cats not claimed by any human, but what part of that are roaming pet cats in terms of the fatalities?
Yeah, so both pet cats and unowned cats, so owned and unowned cats, contribute to this total of 2.4 billion birds that are killed in the United States every year. And just taking a step back, I think you mentioned that cats are an invasive species. They absolutely are. They fit the definition. I think it's important to recognize that they are an introduced predator in the environment. They're not part of the natural landscape in North America. This predation that they're inflicting on native wildlife is not just a part of nature. And actually, domestic cats have, especially owned cats, have a real distinct advantage over native predators with whom they are competing for these resources. A domestic cat has clean water. It has plenty of food at home. It's got access to shelter. It's got access to veterinary care. If a cat roaming outside doesn't make a kill, it doesn't go hungry. It goes home. And so, as we're going to jump into this, I want to make sure we're not demonizing cats in any way. They're just doing what they do.
Sure.
It's incumbent upon us who are responsible for these cats, who are the owners, to make sure that they are not inflicting those harms in the environment where they've been sadly introduced and continue to proliferate. So owned cats, we mentioned 2.4 billion birds is the median estimate for cat-caused bird mortality in the United States. 69% of that is estimated to be from unowned cats, and 31% by owned cats. So certainly the unowned cats, stray cats, feral cats, barn cats, I believe, were included in that estimate also, have a much larger impact in the environment than owned cats. But 31% of 2.4 billion birds is still a heck of a lot of birds. So we absolutely cannot ignore the impact that those owned cats have. And of course, owned cats can easily become unowned cats very quickly. So yeah, there's abandonment, cats get lost, and then they can contribute to the stray or feral cat population that exists on the landscape. And so one of the reasons that outdoor cats have this larger impact, of course, is they might be killing for food. They're outside all the time. Whereas the owned cats, again, they're killing largely for fun, because it's an instinctive prey drive that they're following. There's been some interesting work on owned cats in particular that has found. Well, there was a kitty cam study, which was pretty popular when it came out in 2014, and it monitored owned cats that had indoor-outdoor access, plenty of food, clean water, all that. And it attached little recording devices in partnership with National Geographic to their collars. Those cats then were monitored while they went outside. We collected the video footage and then observed what they got up to. And of course, they got up to all kinds of things you wouldn't want a cat doing. But it wasn't really surprising that they killed birds and other wildlife. What was surprising was they only returned about 23% of those prey items back to the house. And so what that told us was that all of the previous studies that had relied on prey returns to the home, or all of the perspectives of cat owners who say, my cat only kills maybe one bird a month, well, you actually have to multiply that by about 4 or 5 to get the true impact of that cat in the environment. And similar studies have found that cats actually have 2 to 10 times the impact of native predators when they're roaming outside. These are just owned cats. And again, it's because cats are such efficient, effective predators. I mean, it's one of the reasons we love them as pets. Certainly for me, it's that sort of connection with some, I don't know, primal state of being, but in an animal that also gives you some affection and you have a relationship with. But they also, because of their close affiliation with people, they have access to all these things I mentioned before, but they also exist at much higher densities than native predators. And so what you end up getting is a much larger impact in the local environment that can lead to population declines, extirpations, and even extinctions. Cats have contributed to the extinction of 63 species worldwide.
I've read about in Australia, a tremendous problem there in terms of species extinction. So feral cats, they don't have a human home, but people feed them, of course, and they feed themselves on birds and other small creatures. I recently came across an organization called Alley Cat Allies, which among other things advocates for trap, neuter, release programs, which they call trap, neuter, return, in which they claim is a solution to the outdoor cat problem. Why is that plan not a solution?
Yeah. So Alley Cat Allies calls it trap, neuter, return. Many of the organizations advocating for it do. It was historically called trap, neuter, release. We might refer to it as trap, neuter, re-abandon. And so, first of all, the idea is that they will trap cats in the environment. They will sterilize them, and then they will release them or re-abandon them back into the environment. And so the sterilization is good. I mean, we want cats sterilized, but obviously that release into the environment is problematic. TNR purposely keeps cats on the landscape, contributing to the variety of harms that cats inflict on birds, on other wildlife, on domestic animals, on human health. And the cats are themselves at risk. We don't do this with dogs because we would consider it inhumane. It's not humane for cats either. These cats are subject to a variety of risks in the environment, being hit by cars, being exposed to poisons, parasites and diseases. Cats that are roaming outside are about 3 times more likely to be infected with parasites than cats kept inside the home. This is not a good lifestyle for these cats. But the true metric really is, does it work? And the science overwhelmingly indicates that it does not result in cat population declines. So while it fails to reduce the cat population, it's also perpetuating the harms that those cats are causing in the environment.
And isn't it the case, too, that when you have these TNR programs, they're in effect recruiting cats or pet cats into their numbers?
Yeah, so one of the things about TNR that we have to keep in mind is it's not just trapping, sterilizing, and then releasing those cats back into the environment. It is almost universally joined by feeding those cats. And so that feeding, that provisioning of a food resource helps to attract other cats, and it actually has the capacity to increase what we call the carrying capacity, the number of cats that can exist in a given area. Some might say, well, they're being fed, they won't kill wildlife. That is not the case. We know, I think anybody who's spent time around a cat should recognize that they will hunt and kill regardless of whether or not they're hungry. If you've ever played with a cat, as I do with my cat, like a feather toy, for example, she's engaging in a predatory response. That's an instinctive behavioral response that she has. She's chasing the feather toy. She's grabbing it with her front paws and her claws. She's putting her teeth on it. She has no intention of eating that feather toy. She knows it's not food, but she's still engaging in a type of behavior that, if practiced outside with a bird or another animal, would be fatal.
Just to the moment we have left, you have a very comprehensive section on the abcbirds.org website called Solutions for Pet Cats. So I'd like to just direct folks to that, because there's so much information that they can have there. And the website, again, is abcbirds.org. Grant Sizemore is the Director of Invasive Species Programs at the American Bird Conservancy. In addition to numerous outdoor activities he enjoys, taking care of his indoor cat, practicing what he preaches. Grant, thank you so much for your important work, and thanks for being on with us.
Thanks, Ray. It was a real pleasure.
Grant Sizemore here on Talking Birds. And up next, it's our Mystery Bird Contest in just 1 minute.
The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com.
Well, it'll be no surprise to regular listeners that we're kind of short on time here this morning on our Mystery Bird Contest, and we hear the sound of that bird right there, a small, long-winged aerial insectivore with a small bill, pale throat, square tail, orange rump, and a dark blue-black coloring on the crown and back. Among the structures in which our mystery bird nests are silos, bridges, caves, and culverts. Some of the clues there: beautiful prizes from Birds and Beans Coffee and Bird Collective, a $25 gift certificate for Bird Collective. 781-837-4900 is the number to call. If you haven't won within 6 months, give us a call, take part in our contest, and maybe win those beautiful prizes and have the satisfaction of identifying our mystery bird. 781-837-4900 is the number to call. 781-837-4900. Call us right away. Meanwhile, we'll check in with Let's Ask Mike. It's Mike O'Connor. Let's Ask Mike live in just 1 minute.
Ready to take your backyard bird watching to the next level? FeatherSnap makes Wi-Fi-enabled smart bird feeders that blend the best of technology and nature. Get a high-def glimpse of your feathered friends with a top-of-the-line camera so every visitor can be seen with clarity and detail. A unique dual feeder bin helps attract more species, and built-in solar panels keep your camera's battery going strong. FeatherSnap's mobile app creates a truly immersive experience, allowing you to collect and organize your favorite pics and videos and earn badges along the way. FeatherSnap is a convenient and fun way to capture powerful images of your local birds and help get your friends and family excited about bird watching. Best of all, FeatherSnap offers expert-trained AI identification of more than 275 North American species, thanks to their in-house ornithologist. Check them out today at feathersnapcam.com. feathersnapcam.com.
The music from Mike O'Connor, and let's ask Mike, and I believe he's on there, and they're finding out something about frosty finches this fall. Mike will now flaunt his famous and infallible fearless foresight-filled finch foretelling forecast feature. Let's get a feel for fall flights he foresees. Good morning, Mike.
Oh, my God. Geez, nice job. I couldn't have done that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good.
I know you're not really forecasting, but I had that nice alliteration there, and I felt I had to use it there because you're just looking at what the forecasters are saying. Am I right?
Oh, I know. This is my favorite day of the year. I look for this is like Christmas to me. This is like, the Hollywood and the Academy Awards once a year, or NCAA and the March Madness. Everybody looks forward to it. This is what I look forward to. Is all the northern finches, the grosbeaks, the red poles, the siskins, the crossbills. And when there's a bad year of food, they all come down south looking for food. They come down our way. They come down into the United States. And there's a guy, Tyler Hoare, with the Finch Network, and he goes out and checks up all the food up north and lets us know if the birds are coming. And according to him, there's good news and bad news. The good news is there's plenty of food for the birds. There's plenty of white spruce cones and white birds and tamaracks and balsam fir. Plenty of food. Of course, there's a few exceptions, but for the most part, there's plenty of food. So the bad news is for people like me who sell bird feed for a living, or folks who enjoy birds at their feet, they're not likely to get any pine grosbeaks or red poles or crossbills coming down this year. Of course, there could be an ice storm. Things could change. But right now, the forecast is the birds have plenty of food. So good for them. They don't have to make a dangerous migration south and deal with feeders or people with cats. Thank you. That was a great guest you had on, by the way.
Yeah.
So they'll be up north, but we're going to have a lot of, my kid's going to have a sad Christmas because there won't be a lot of bird seed sold this year. So that's the news on that.
No, you don't just tell your customers every year there's going to be a lot of finches, so buy lots of seed. You don't do that.
No, I'm going to do that anyway.
Oh, you'll do that. Okay.
I'll tell them that. And then our friends, the snowy owl that everybody looks forward to coming down. According to the Owl Research Institute, they might not be coming down this year because it was a shortage. This is just the opposite. A shortage of lemmings this year. When there's few lemmings, there's few owl nests and few owl babies, and it's usually the young owls that come south when there's a banner year of reproduction, and right now it doesn't look like there was a lot of that. So we might not see snowy owls again this year, but I don't sell snowy owl food, so who
cares? All right, Mike, thank you so much. Talk to you next week.
Okay.
All right, we're late at the Mystery Bird Contest, as usual, even more so than usual. Let's see who we have. We have somebody on the line there. There's somebody. Okay, we're going to clear another call through here if we possibly can. Larry is on the phone there. What's up, Larry? What do you say on the Mystery Bird?
It's the gray catbird.
The gray catbird. What a top-quality guest there, Larry. Not even close, I have to admit.
Not even close on that one?
Not even close, really. But thank you for the guess anyway.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
We usually say your top-quality guess or something like that, but that one kind of was far off there. I'm sure Larry doesn't mind us saying that, but that's not the Mystery Bird we have in mind. We're just about out of time this morning. I don't know if we'll sneak another call through or not. If we do, then that will be wonderful. Meanwhile, we'll be getting prepared for our next show next week. In the meantime, while we get a chance, we'll say thank you to our amazing Talking Birds team. That would be Debbie Bleacher, Freya McGregor, and our producing engineer, Jesse Wilkins. I'm Ray Brown, and before we go, we'll identify that mystery bird there. And the mystery bird is the cave swallow. The cave swallow. That's it for our show this morning. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
The bird show. I like that. I love birds.
Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Feathersnap, the smart bird feeder with a high-resolution camera and species identification software aimed to educate and spread joy to every level of avian enthusiast. Learn more at feathersnapcam.com.
And by Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty, their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.